right, Doom Vivamus Vivamus Epicureans. This is the Marvel Epic Collection Podcast One-Shot Edition. I'm your host, Nick Smith, and I'm joined by...
Stojr from Stojr Shelf. How's it going, Nick?
Doing well, Stojr. We are participating in Kurtis Findlay's Epic Marvel Podcast Reading Club, and this one-shot is going to bring our brief thoughts on today's issue, which is X-Men number 95. All right, you ready to do this, Stojr?
All new, all different.
Yes, yep, absolutely. Okay, so this one is called War Hunt. Same creative team as the last issue, with Sam Granger taking over on inks. The X-Men managed to survive their fall from the exploding X-Jet, and they infiltrate the Valhalla Missile Command. We get an epic battle with Nefaria's Ani-Men. They somehow managed to knock out the Doomsmith device during that battle. Thus, they save the entire world accidentally. However, as Nefaria escaped in a jet, Thunderbird rode along on the jet, smashing into it, and eventually causing the jet to explode, taking out Nefaria and Thunderbird with it. All right, your thoughts, Stojr?
I mean, I think this is a pivotal issue. When I think of the all-new X-Men, I think of Giant Size X-Men #1. In my head, I sort of combine these three issues. And, maybe I selectively forget the Ani-Men, and then, jump to the end of this issue with what happens to Warbird. I do find some of the art in this issue is really good, but at the same time, I think Cockrum has a thing for drawing eyebrows very thick. I think it's very interesting seeing Professor X's eyebrows in the last couple pages when he's sort of monitoring things from afar. I mean, they almost look like the mountains on page 77. I also the other panel that jumps out at me is on page 69 with Storm there, because she really looks like the bonus material art where they were they were potentially thinking about having her as like a cat character, and transform into a cat as opposed to weather powers, and that her face is very elongated and things like that in that picture. So you kind of see them like experimenting with things, and sort of the style is settling in and stuff like that. It's great to see Wolverine in the battle and Colossus. I mean, every time I see Colossus fight during this time, I'm picturing the X-Men arcade game and hearing those sound effects in my head.
Yep.
As we go through here. I also think it's really interesting about how Cyclops is really a military leader in these issues, especially at this time. I mean, he's shouting commands. There's no question that he's in charge. And that's something that kind of carries through like much later in Uncanny X-Men, in Volume 2 and Volume 3 and so on and so forth. And at this time, like you just don't think about it necessarily going all the way back to this time. But he's really in charge of all this stuff, and it's really good. Not that it does Thunderbird any help at the end of the issue, because he's not really helping. He's not really listening, and Banshee is a victim there. There's also some parallels, some obvious and purposeful parallels, because when you go back and read, or when you read later on the Deadly Genesis miniseries, which kind of weaves some things in and out of here, Banshee and having to deal with, planes is not really well on his luck later in life, some 30 or 40 years later. So yeah, this is a pivotal issue. I mean, for me, this is great stuff. This is what starts to really settle in that this is going to be different. This is really good.
Yeah, I agree. I also feel like having the death of one of these new characters so early was a very interesting decision. I get the feeling that this is before the trope of deaths meaning nothing in comics hadn't really happened yet. Like, if there had ever been any deaths, there was an easy explanation as to how they kind of got out of it. So Thunderbird dying feels real at this point. And if you're going to do that with a character, I kind of felt like Thunderbird was probably the right character to do that, just simply because he seemed to be the least fleshed out character of them all. Heck, I'll admit, I don't even know what his powers are. Is he the power of the Apache or something?
He's strong. That's about all
Yeah,
I know.
that's about it.
Yeah.
Which you've already got a strong man with Colossus, which granted he also has the metal skin. So
Hmm.
I also thought the visuals at the end of Professor Xavier feeling his death with the flames surrounding him really kind of makes it hit home, almost like you're feeling it yourself as the reader. So I just thought that was a great artistic choice there. All right.
Yeah, and with the death stuff, I mean, I think that they the only thing I'll say there is that, like, I agree that, with what you're saying, that usually any sort of comic deaths at this point in time were, there was an obvious explanation. I don't remember though if how obvious it was with Professor X, because I think he's already been dead once at this point in
Has
the
he?
X-Men comic. Yeah, I'd have to go back, but I think before the cancellation, and for readers that are just following this reading club and just picking this up, keep in mind that before Giant Size X-Men #1, X-Men was canceled. Like they're the issues from the 60s to the 90s or something like that were just reprints of previous issues. And
Mm-hmm.
this was a last ditch effort to kind of revitalize the sales and get them back into the forefront of things. So, but yeah, I feel like he might have died once already and was brought back. I'll have to double check that for a future episode. But yeah, I'm with you, right? I mean, Thunderbird stayed dead for till Krakoa era, I think. So
Oh, was he brought
he's
back? I have not been reading any of the modern X Men. It
yeah.
got too convoluted for me. But did they bring him back? He
Yeah,
had a
I mean,
brother that came
basically,
back, right?
yeah, so he's got a little brother that's on X-Force, right?
Okay.
So he was I think he debuted at the issue 98 or 99 of New Mutants or something like that. And it's John Brown Star or something like that, or I might be mixing up the names, but basically the same power set. And so he's been around, but in Krakoa era, everybody gets resurrected. So
Okay.
there's, because one of the things with the Krakoa era is that they actually have the ability to resurrect mutants.
Mm-hmm.
So they sort of beaten death. So yeah, so he's back during that era. I would assume he's still around, and there wasn't sort of a permanent death for him when the resurrection protocols kind of went away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he stayed dead for a while. I mean, that's a Bucky level death there for 30 or 40 years. So.
Yeah. All right. All right, cool. Well, if you've enjoyed our thoughts, follow us on YouTube where we will re-rate and review the full Epic Collection trade paperbacks every other week. Again, programming note for this week, we plan on doing Morbius this Sunday. That's going to get pushed on for another week due to personal matters. But thanks for watching. Stojr, any last thoughts?
Nope. Looking forward to the next issue. This is great stuff. You can find me online, TikTok, YouTube, Stoder Shelf.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.